Good morning, YouTubers. Will you check this out? This is a brand new handmade 5 string bass. Boss tells me they call this the Oracle. It says on the headstock here. I cannot read it. Divinity. Divinity Oracle, I guess. Yeah, handmade bass. But look at the design of this thing. And we're going to get into this because this design is awesome and crazy and wonderful. And I know that the further up you go on your body joint, that the bigger, the more stable your bass is. But there is an issue with that. And the issue is the lower frets. This is kind of a ski ramp. So there is no fall away in these frets. So we have to create some fall away so that this thing can play with this incredibly low action and not be buzzing all over the place. We're not even taking the strings off. We're going to loosen the strings and pull them over, but we're going to tape this body up and we're going to tape up that fretboard. And then we're going to tape off the upper frets. And we're going to start at about 15, 14, and make a taper. We're going to go downwards. We're going to take less off up here and more off up here so that this thing has a certain amount of fall away. Because right now, when you put a straight edge on this straight edge will, obviously I can't use the notch side. This straight edge will show you that there's relief here at 12 and 13. There's relief, but there is none down here. And it starts at 24. 24 is high. And then up here, we got perfect relief. From 12 to here, you're looking at a few thousandths of relief at 5th and 6th fret. So we're going to have to tape this up and do a little fret surgery. We're going to do a level and recrown on the lower frets, and then we're going to recrown all of them just to make sure that we're in good nick. So that's what we're looking at. That's the flyover. The flyover. But that's where we're going. We're all taped up here. And as you can see, we're being a little overly cautious. But with an instrument like this, we really need to be. What we're going to see is daylight from 24 to about the 10th fret. There is daylight. That means these frets are going upwards. Now, when we check it with the truss rod to 12, it is dead flat. So that means that this neck is not moving. The truss rod is only moving the neck that is away from this body that attaches all the way up here at 12th fret. So these frets are not being affected by the truss rod. And now that the truss rod is adjusted and it's settled and we have an upwards trajectory here. So what we have to do is we have to get out the big yellow tape and we have to decide where we're going to want to start our fall away. So I'm going to start it right about here where the neck joins the body. And I'm going to put a few pieces of tape here so we're not affecting the frets at all above this tape line. Now, I've seen this done with acoustics, and you don't want to do a whole neck reset. You put a bit of fall away in where the fingerboard is over the top. I'm going to go a little further up here just because I have a long beam and I don't want to be using a short beam. If I use a short beam on this, we could mess things up and we could make unlevel fall away turn into unlevel, and unlevel is what we do not want. Because you don't want to put pressure on your beam. You want the beam, the weight of the beam, to do your work. So that's what we're going to do here. This is the light side. I'm not taking a lot off. I want to take maybe 10,000s off the 24 and maybe 4 or 5 up here at like 14. So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using the weight of the beam to do, and you can see that this is already 24 is so high compared to the rest of them. Like it's probably a good thousandth and a half above 23, and 23 is now being affected. But 22 is not being touched yet. 22 is not being touched yet. The other frets are not being touched yet. It is riding on this tape, and it's only taking down the high frets. So we're gonna keep going on like this. I don't know how to do time lapse yet, or else I would. I'm figuring that out as we go along. I'm still relatively new at all this stuff, but we're gonna keep going. And you can see that 24 is completely being sanded now, and 23 is almost there. I'm going to tape off the rest of the... Just let me do one more piece of tape here. Because I'm not... There is a small lip that might... So we're going to tape off the end of the fretboard. Okay? But we're going to keep going. Yeah, we're going to keep pressing that string down because that string wants to pop up. But here we go. I gotta continue on. 23 is really starting to be affected now. And I am, and now, 22 is starting to be affected. Like I said, this is the 400 grit side. We could go aggressive and go to the 220 side, but man, I only want to do this in very minimal increments. So we're going to stick with the 400. And like I said, we're starting to get work done. You can see the sanding, the shavings coming off the frets. 24 is completely now starting to flatten out. 24 is starting to flatten out. 23 is just starting to be completely affected, and now 22 is starting to be affected here in the center. And we want to keep going till we get at least up here. So we're gonna keep doing this, just minimal increments, very slowly. And then what we'll do is once we're all done leveling, I will show you guys what we're doing. And then we're going to mark these up a little bit. And we're going to recrown them. The ones that are affected are going to be recrowned. And then we're going to untape all the rest of the tape, but leave the fretboard tape on. And we're going to polish every fret with the rotary tool. Well, I will put a new wool pad on. But that's where we're going to be. I will come back to you in a minute.
There's point of impact.
Here we go, guys. We got a brand new wool pad on the mini grinder, and we're going to start polishing. We're all done up with the Mother's Mag wheel and aluminum polish. I don't need to show you the bottle. I've showed you guys that before. You know what I use. We're polishing these up to a nice mirror luster. Now while we untake this, we'll clean up the buffer slime with a little of the wonderful, most wonderful chemical in the world, naphtha, because it cleans freaking everything. No, these are definitely not stainless. These are polishing up like very high nickel content French. So I believe they're very high nickel silver frets. But they are polishing up very nicely. Stainless would come up to a mirror luster. I mean mirror. And these are more looking like a chrome bumper, which is high in nickel. Wow, we're going through them all on video. These upper frets really did need a lot. But as you can see, we definitely needed a new buffer pad because they blacken up with when the polish is really working on them. But that's it. We'll get a little. We gotta get a new rag over here. Let's get a new rag. We polish the. We got a couple. So we got a brand new rag. And I'm not going to put the naphtha right on the fretboard because I'm not ready to take this tape off yet. So we're going to open this up. Come on. There we go. We're going to open this up. We're going to wet this rag with some naphtha. And we're going to go over this. I'm just going to go over the frets. Get all this buffer slime off of the frets. Especially these down here because they definitely needed it. They're the ones that got all the level of work today. And you get to see they now match completely. They match perfectly. With the recrown, they match perfectly. But we want to get in here on the sides, make sure there's any red traces of red marker at the bottom of the fret. We want to get rid of it. There we go. We are going to untape and all that. That's the slime from the buffer. We don't want that getting into a beautiful maple fretboard. So, we're going to untape. I won't make you, watch me do that. And I'll come back when I got the strings back on and we're ready to set it up.
Just plug sideways a little bit and stick it through. No, this is just...
Okay, guys, we're all strung back up. I was actually able to lower the action, and it is now completely buzz free. Completely buzz free, intonated impeccably. My boss Chris Ratchford knows how to intonate a guitar, I'll tell you that. The guitar is intonated correctly. The action is minimal. I mean, I will get out the fretalizer Fritz ruler. I have a couple of them here. Come on. Bass guitar, our low E is at 24th fret, about 1.2 millimeters. And we are 1 millimeter at the high G. We are freaking amazing for a bass. Absolutely freaking amazing. And I'm just going to polish this up with a little bit of the ball polish. We're going to use quite a bit on the fretboard because that was all taped up, so we're going to make sure we're nice and clean. But we got the ball polish here. I think that is the best polish that there is. I love the Dunlop 65, but the Ernie ball polish is just, it has a nice smell to it too. So we'll get in here in the monkey grip. Now this is a handmade bass that is worth gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of money. And so we are taking a very serious cleaning to this. These are all, this is a 5-string jazz pickup, but this is all custom made here in the middle. Now this is a lacquered board, so Howard's Feed and Wax is not going to help it at all. All you're going to do is make your fingers greasy. And get any tape residue. We can unplug that now. We're all good. Any tape residue from the back. Look at that multi-piece neck. Look. Just look. It looks like. It really looks like wenge, maple, mahogany with maybe a I don't know what's around these strips of mahogany, something red. So it looks like wenge and maple and mahogany, maple, mahogany, maple, mahogany. And maybe a burled walnut here on the back. The cavity cover matches. There, that's what I think is on the strip because I use so much walnut in the body. I'm thinking maybe that those are just strips of walnut. Get down into monkey grip. And this is completo. These are hip shot open gear bass tuners. Wow. Very nice hardware. But this is complete. We're all done. Wow. This is just an amazing bass. And no, this is not steel wool leftover. This is a natural occurring something in the grain here. It does not come off, not with that, but with other thing. I thought the same thing. That is one amazing bass. And it can be yours. Call Chris at Pristine Auctions. Now that I'm thinking back, I think he did say it might have been sold already. We're going to adjust that a little bit, just a hair, because I did lower it. And I think I might have lowered it just a hair too much. So let's give this a once over and retune. I'm going to go by half a turn. Yeah, we are pretty much matching the radius of the fretboard now. I believe that the low string can come up just a hair more. Yeah, we're a good neck. Let's retune. You know what? The five strings, it's always funky trying to get your low B with an older style chromatic tuner like I have here. Even with the snarks. There we go. I have an older chromatic tuner. This chromatic tuner has been all around the damn world with me. I've had it since 1988. It's been with me for that long. And it's an older style Boss chromatic tuner. And it just never fails me. And, but, you know, doing a low B like this, even in a low setting, you're better off doing your low B with at your chromatic. But there it is. There is the Divinity Oracle handmade bass. Wow. The figure and the wood in this thing, the craftsmanship that went into this thing is just absolutely amazing. It's just that this design, where you're looking at a 12 to 24, that's your body joint is up at 12 or 11, actually, on the bass side. So when you're adjusting the truss rod, be known that you're only getting from 11th fret to 1st fret, and you talking down here where you have to work with the frets. And that's what we did today. And I'm not charging the boss a lot for this, because it took me longer to tape it up than it did to do the work. But it looks amazing. The frets are all polished. We're all good. Like, subscribe, comment, and tell me your thoughts on the Oracle. Wow. We've just had 3 basses come in here worth over $10,000 just this weekend. Each one worth over $10,000. This one, I guess, is selling at 8. Around 8. I believe it is sold. The boss, if I'm thinking correctly, the boss told me that this bass is sold. But if you want to inquire about basses like this and Ken Smith stuff, I mean, the Ken Smith stuff is a freaking amazing. And talk to Chris at Pristine Auctions in Archibald, and look him up on Facebook. This is Chris Ratchford, Pristine Auctions, and this is amazing. But thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.